Gareth Southgate names his England squad for the upcoming international break. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another video. Yes, today's video we're centering around Gareth Southgate, who has named his England squad for the upcoming international break. England are set to take on Australia in a friendly. Don't know why. Friendly, pointless. And then Italy in a European qualifier. Yeah, another international break is upon us, and if you listen very carefully, you can hear the vast majority of English football fans crying inside at the prospect of watching England in another international break again. Yeah, so make the most of this Premier League weekend while it lasts, because it's going to be a very long 2 weeks after that before club football returns, of course. In saying that, though, we are going to be looking at the England squad that Gareth Southgate selected. There are some predictable choices. There are a couple of surprising choices. But most of all, predictable. Most of all, still debatable. Most of all, still typical Gareth Southgate nonsense. But we're going to look into all of that. But before we do, I would like to remind you all, please like the video and also subscribe if you're new. Both things are always and very greatly appreciated. And of course, if you'd like to get involved in the comment section as well, I'm sure you have a lot of interesting thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. That'll make for great and interesting reading down below in that comment section. So do get involved down there. And without further ado, let's get on with the video. Let's get on with Gareth Southgate's team selection. And I would say probably the first name right off the bat that strikes you as a bit of a surprise is Ollie Watkins. Obviously, he's been in fine form. I'm not saying it's a surprise in a bad way, but I am surprised that obviously Gareth Southgate has selected someone who is firing on all cylinders right now. Had a good couple of weeks behind him, was a difference maker in Aston Villa's game against Chelsea, in which obviously he scored the only goal of the game to get Villa the 3 points. And then, of course, he scored a hat-trick last weekend when Villa took on Brighton in a big game for the Villains there. Watkins enters the squad for the first time in a while. But then Southgate goes on to make a few weird comments, like you can't just pick him on recency bias. It's called form, Gareth. It's called form. Did your mind slip there of the word you were looking for? The word is form, which is what you should be picking all of your players on. Form. Not just picking players that have been good for you in the past that are not playing for their teams. Speaking of that, by the way, he has selected Harry Maguire, yet again, predictable. He has selected Calvin Phillips, predictable. Both have not played any vast majority of football for their current clubs since obviously the last international break. And even Jack Grealish, who has played a total of 13 minutes. Now, I know that Grealish had a hamstring injury, which is why he's probably been slowly bled back into the Manchester City side. But 13 minutes, and you've got players that have been playing regularly, as well as obviously picking back Harry Maguire and Calvin Phillips. You know, James Ward-Prowse, what does he need to do to get into this England squad? He's been fantastic for West Ham this season. Absolutely fantastic. And you're telling me that Calvin Phillips deserves a place ahead of him? Are you mad? Are you mad? You've got Joe Gomez at Liverpool, seemingly reborn. I know he's been playing a slightly out of position role in that right back area. But are you telling me that he doesn't deserve an England call-up over someone who's not playing regularly for their side? Again, are you mad? I don't understand Southgate's logic. Never have, never will. And again, at least the only thing I will say about it is if he's going to play the you can't play the recency bias card. I understand then why he's picking these players that, to be fair, have been good for England and for Southgate in the past, but obviously don't deserve the England call-up based on merit of how their club form is going, because they're not playing for their current clubs. Like I say, what did Joe Gomez and James Ward-Prowse need to do to get back into this England squad? It baffles me. Jack Grealish has only played 13 minutes. Bukayo Saka's in, and he may be injured. He may be injured. he obviously came off in Arsenal's Champions League game midweek. He's a massive doubt for this Sunday. Why would you play him and risk further injury? Why wouldn't you just give him the rest? Especially because one of the games is a friendly. So experiment a little bit. Ollie Watkins being picked based on his recent form and saying we can't just go off recency bias. That's the whole point of a friendly. To go off that recency bias and see if he can handle the expectation of playing at an international level to represent his country. That would be a great time to play him. And then when you play your Italy game, which is the qualifier game, then go on to pick a more serious squad. But with the form of Jared Bowen, I'd possibly argue that Bowen should be starting ahead of Saka in that game, personally. With the form that Jared Bowen's in right now, he's in some brilliant form himself, so why not start him ahead of Saka? Give Saka a couple of weeks rest, because obviously there's been stories coming out this week that he's been carrying injuries for many months, maybe even a couple of years now. He needs a rest. He's a young player that may be on the verge of burning out, that kind of thing. Give the guy a rest. Play someone else. Raheem Sterling hasn't been great, but at least he's been playing. Like I say, James Ward-Prowse, I don't know what he needs to do to get into this England squad. Even Jordan Henderson has again been selected. I don't know how he's doing out in Saudi Arabia. I couldn't care less about the Saudi Arabian League, to be honest, right now. So, even he's been selected. Trent Alexander-Arnold comes in as a midfielder. Tomori retains his place. Kieran Trippier, Kyle Walker, even John Stones. Even John Stones is in the England squad. He's not played all season. John Stones is in the England squad. I think that's kind of gone under the radar a little bit. How is he in the England squad? Joe Gomez has been playing all season. Honestly, it baffles the mind, this. I just had to get this out there because as much as I say I don't care for England, I do care for stupidity, pointing it out and obviously highlighting it. And Gareth Southgate, majorly stupid. Majorly stupid. Like, I don't get this whole thing. Like, unless he's got some sort of deal going on with City to kind of get these players up to match fitness with Stones, and he's going to play Stones and he's going to play Grealish to continue their match fitness. I've got no idea what the hell's going on. Otherwise, your goalkeepers are Sam Johnson, Jordan Pickford, Aaron Ramsdale. Again, predictable. Levi Colwell is in. Lewis Dunk retains. Mark Gahey's in. Like I say, Maguire. There's Stones, Tomori, Trippier, Walker. They make up your defenders. Trent Alexander-Arnold. The majorly informed Jude Bellingham is in, which is good to see. Conor Gallagher's in. Jordan Henderson's in. Calvin Phillips, like I say, I don't understand that one, but yep, there he is. Declan Rice, and then your forwards are Jared Bowen, Phil Foden, Jack Grealish, Harry Kane, James Maddison, Eddie Nketiah, Marcus Rashford, Bukayo Saka, and Ollie Watkins. So like I say, most of it is predictable. Some of it are surprises. I understand that with a friendly being in the mix, I don't know why we're still playing international friendlies. They are the most pointless thing in the world. Especially when you've only got like 2 weeks. Just play the qualifier game. Why do you need to add an extra game on top for these players? They're already playing enough as it is. You know, there's already injuries aplenty this season. Why are you risking the bigger risk of maybe even more injuries happening with pointless international friendlies? It makes no sense. So a few surprises, a few predictable ones, but like I say, with an international friendly coming up, and of course then qualifier, typical kind of things you'd expect. Don't understand how the likes of Stones, Maguire, Calvin Phillips, Bukayo Saka to an extent, and Jack Grealish are in this squad, given their current situations with Hardy playing and obviously carrying injuries, and the likes of Joe Gomez and James Ward-Prowse in particular are not in contention for this squad. It baffles the mind. It baffles the mind. I don't know what more they need to do to get into this squad, but clearly Southgate has his favourites, and we've known that for a while, but every time we expect him to change and maybe hope that he changes, he simply doesn't. He simply does not. But there you have it. There you have it. Like I say, make the most of this upcoming Premier League and club football weekend as you can, because the next 2 weeks are going to drag by in terms of the international break. But those are just obviously the thoughts and comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, of this guy. I want to know what you guys think. What do you make of Gareth Southgate's England selection ahead of the international break that will see England go up against Australia in a friendly and Italy in a European qualifier? I would like to see your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it. That makes for great and interesting reading down below in that comment section, so do get involved down there. Otherwise, hit the like button on the way. If you enjoyed the video, subscribe if you're new or want to see more content like this. Those things are always in front of me, greatly appreciated. And of course, thank you all so much for watching and listening. I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video, and I'll see you all again soon in another video, live stream, or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Have a good one. Take care. Speak to you soon.